What is good, hunters? Welcome back to Way of the Hunter. In this video, I want to talk about Ranger, which I think is one of the most underrated difficulty in Way of the Hunter. I think it's a fantastic mood to play in for players who want a more realistic, a more immersive experience. But I also think that there's some things that are holding it back for players to sort of make that jump. So I'm going to get into that because I really want this mood to be improved. I think it's very vital that we have this mood for hardcore players. I know it's a very niche difficulty, but I still want to preserve it because I really think it is a fantastic difficulty to play on. So what I'm going to propose here is I don't want to make the mood easier. I want to make it more practical. So what I mean by that is I want to really tweak some features that really bring everything together. And what I mean by that is, since the game is designed more for casual players, there are some mechanics that come over to Ranger that really doesn't either make sense or it doesn't really help the situation. It kind of makes the game a lot easier. It makes the mood, in my opinion, too easy. Currently, Ranger is more of a mysterious, very luck-based type of gameplay. There are some judging you can do as far as the animals are concerned, but for the most part, you are guessing on what you're shooting. And I think that's a part that really turns players off or to make them feel like they can't make that leap. So there's a few things we can do. But what really is amazing about Ranger is that you'd realize that aging is a whole new beast. Getting 5 stars is a whole new beast. And when you play in that mood, you won't get a lot of 5 stars, you wouldn't get a lot of animals aging a lot. Because it becomes very difficult, there is no hand holding, and you really have to document things on your own. And the game itself becomes this game of chess. And it's so involved that I think a lot of players won't have the time, the motivation to really play it because it's so demanding. And I want to keep it that way. So here are a few things I think that can really enhance Ranger. Now, one of the main problems we have is judging animals because, as we all know, most of the animals look the same. And I think that's a problem. The thing is, in real life, a lot of animals do look the same. So to differentiate them is very hard. So I want to keep that challenge within the game. But looking at certain animals, you can tell that there isn't much work or much effort being put into them to make them really different, if you want to say. Like weight and height is not really taken into consideration as much. It's gotten better. But when you look at the predators, it's very hard to tell them apart. And just having a size variation in some way can really help that situation. So one of the first things I want to cover is I would like to have the option to turn off perks. And this is just a personal thing. I feel perks really make the game a little too easy. Having the option to turn this off, I think a lot of players will want that, some won't. But this will please both the players who want it and those who don't. I rather work and put in the work as I'm hunting to make those perks happen. I don't want it to automatically be this buffer or this crutch that I'm hunting on. I would rather do the groundwork myself. Stuff like the crawling perk, making less noise. I want to have control over that. I don't want a perk to dictate how I hunt. We just touched on the height and the weight variation. I would love to see more of that. We should be able to tell an adult, from a mature, based on weight. Maybe a big belly. Maybe in the way they walk. We want to have a lot more distinguished visual clues so we can judge our animals better. Because as is, we're very limited. And I think this is really holding back the difficulty, the mood from being played a lot. We need better texture variations. It's a little hard to judge age now for certain animals because the coat on the animals don't really stand out well. Sometimes when you go to the harvest screen, it doesn't look as it should. Again, I think that has improved. But still, there's this doubt that we have, about judging the harvest screen compared to what we see in the field. And sometimes it's chalked up to, lighting. Maybe it's not the right angle, but we shouldn't be having that issue. We should be able to see what we see in the field, and when we go into the harvest screen, it generally should reflect that, which I think it mostly does. But we need to tighten that up a little bit more. It would also be nice if we can get animals that look old in the sense of their body structure. Maybe they should be walking older. Maybe they should be walking around limping. We need a little bit more of something to kind of add to our visual clue. Because overall, this will enhance the mood, I think, greatly. So I'm calling in some cicadas here, but I don't think I'm getting any kind of response. I'm not hearing any footsteps. So let me check my wind. So I should be good. But I don't have my elk caller, so I want to have a look at these elk, see if I can get some eyes on them. So one other thing I wanted to say is that I don't want to make this mood easy. If players don't have time to invest, then this is not the mood for you. This is a very demanding mood, and I want to keep it that way, and I don't want this to be a casual thing. A lot of players saying that they would like to see the Hunter Sense in Ranger. To me, that's a big no. It's not something I would want at all, because the goal is you want to field judge on your own these animals as they grow and as they age. The more visual clues that we have, the better the game would be. Not adding any kind of UI to it. We want a clean experience when it comes to hunting. We don't want a UI standing in, between us and nature and the animals. Because I really think this is the best mood we can play on. I love it. I've been playing for a few months, and I have not looked back. I don't want to be dealing with sound bubbles, UIs popping up when I'm hunting. I want to make those judgment calls. And it's not a bad system. I'm just saying that from a realistic, hunting perspective, you would rather not have these things popping up. Most of those decisions you can make on your own. And we know it's good for casual players, and that's fine. But we need to think about the players who want a hardcore experience, which is very small, which I know putting in resources into that may not be, something that is either feasible or rewarding. But we got to think about everybody on the spectrum. The same way we can bring this new difficulty hiker, it's the same way we can actually give some attention to Ranger, because I feel whatever is being added into the game is not really taking Ranger into account. It's just being, transferred over, and it's making it easier. Like the tripods, there should be spooking ranges on these tripods. In no way should I be able to put up a tripod 50 meters away from an animal. It should not happen. So these are the things I think that really hold Ranger back for a lot of people. And I would like it to be fixed. I would like it to be tweaked. Some mindfulness I would like to be given to Ranger to really preserve this difficulty. Because no other game offers us that, in my opinion. Okay, so these guys are right here. I can see them. But this forest is so thick, it's hard to get a visual on them. So we'd give it some time, see if they cool down a little bit. Seems like they were drinking here. Okay, so they're moving more to the left, which is good. That's in line with my wind direction. But since I don't have a collar, I can't really weed out anything here. I gotta go by visual. So I think we saw like 2 males in there. I think we saw a nice mature. Okay, if I'm not careful, I'm going to spook them from here. There's a little bit of opening, but I can't... I probably won't be able to get a good shot because I can't really see much. So let me sit tight for a bit. And this is the part of Ranger that I love. There's no visual clues here from a UI. We are making judgments, we're making adjustments. And it's awesome. Okay, so we got a nice mature over there. He seems to be maybe a 3-star, 2-star. So I might just let him walk. Yeah, he's not too bad, but I don't think he's ready for the taking. Got some young guys in here. This herd looks really good overall. I really like what I see with the antlers. So I think I will come back and check them out later on. They're just right in this corner here. They come down here all to the water zones, so shouldn't be too hard to find them. So overall, I'm really happy and proud of the Ranger community. There's a few of us behind the scenes that are working hard, trying to really find differences in the animals that can make Ranger a lot more practical. And we're breaking some grounds, we're making some progress, and we're sharing what we're finding. And little by little, everything is coming together. I have a huge list that I'm working through of animals that I'm trying to figure out how can we better judge them. So I'm going to pitch this to the devs and really see how we can really make this an even better experience. Because I feel it can be a really deeper experience where we're able to judge animals from what we see. We have more visual clues, so we can make a better informed decision. And I know that luck and mystery is part of the gameplay, and I want to maintain that. I don't want to take it away from the game, because in real life, that's what you're doing. You're guessing. Nobody really knows how old certain animals are, right? Unless you're really tracking them. So I want to maintain that. Again, we're not looking for easy, we're looking for more practical. Okay, we got a nice boy coming in here, and we'll take him. So very soon I'll be sharing that list with you guys and show you the kind of progress we have made. Even with bears, with wolves. I just did a study on wolves, and I'll make a video on that soon, where we can differentiate and distinguish wolves. So let's see what we got here. 31 meters out. We got a nice hard shot. Bullseye. That is awesome. So we got a 36%, 1 star. And you can tell by those antlers that that's very much in line. Especially with the coat, everything looks as it should as an adult. So that's really what I wanted to talk about in this video. Is how can we make Ranger better? And I believe it's such an amazing difficulty to play on. I love it. And I just want for the future that it's fleshed out a lot more, so when players, try it out, there isn't this, this roadblock that's causing them to not want to play it. And I feel with these little tweaks that at least it will even the playing field a little bit more, making it a bit more practical to sort of judge your animals and feel like you're progressing. Because right now, there is a sense of progression, but it's a lot of work, which I fear a lot of players wouldn't have time for or want to do. So again, we're not trying to make it easier, we're trying to make it more practical, where you're feeling as if your time is being rewarded with progression and a sense of doing that. Because right now, again, because you're guessing so much, that it's kind of hard sometimes to get into a rhythm, if you want to say so. And again, I still love that kind of gameplay. I just want for everybody to experience, this in a very, very positive way. So I'm going to propose these changes. Let me know what you think. I'm going to tell the devs what I think. See if we can find a middle ground somehow to improve Ranger. Just to give it that extra love. So let me know in the comments what you think, how you're feeling, anything you'll want changed, so I can add and pitch to the devs. If you have any interest in trying out Ranger, I encourage you to. It's a whole different beast. Very, very enjoyable, no hand-holding experience. I love it. And one thing I think I forgot to really mention was like sound orientation before I close off. We need to improve that, because sometimes you don't even know what direction animals are calling from. They could be here, you're hearing it over there. And I know there's echoes, through the environment, but we need a bit more of a distinctive direction as to where sounds are coming from. I think it can be tweaked. This has been tweaked, over time, and I think it can be a lot better. So, with that being said, thank you for watching, and thank you for listening.